Welcome to the Not Superheroes Gets Dads podcast. No, we can't fly. No, we can't shoot lasers or pick up giant buildings. But what we can do is help set the foundations for our families, be presents for our kids, and combat generational cycles. On this podcast, we dive into everything dad related, from the struggles we deal with as fathers to what our favorite thing to barbecue is. Hello, I hope you guys are doing amazing. I am Sean Laurie, in case you didn't know. Happy holidays, y'all. Happy holidays. We're around the corner from Christmas, right? And so, many of us is scrambling to figure out what we're going to get, or how we're going to get it. If you're like me, you're for sure taking advantage of Amazon and things like that online. It definitely helps. But with that being said, before we dive into what I want to talk about today, guys, I wanted to just remind you to make sure you subscribe, share, tell a friend. I appreciate the support. It's been amazing. Now that I got that out the way, I want to talk to you guys about something that I feel like it is very, it's something that happens to all of us, right? Even if you wasn't a father, it happens to us. But I feel like as fathers, we definitely feel this a lot. And you hear that saying, was it, here's the season, 'tis the season, or whatever, right? But I feel like this is the season for stress, right? This is the season for stress, because all the holidays and festivities that we're trying to do and take on, it can be a lot at times, right? It can be a lot. Despite it's supposed to be a joyful time, despite it's supposed to be a time where we're enjoying our families, our kids, right? Seeing the smiles on their face. But let's acknowledge the pressure that we feel at times, trying to get quote unquote the perfect gift, trying to make sure that whatever the family gathering goes perfectly, right? And at times it can feel like it's so much to do with so little time, right? For those that's working overtime, right? Working overtime, so they can make sure they can afford those plane tickets to go out of state, right? To see their family, or to hey, we always go to the mountains, we always go to the beach house, or whatever the case is, right? For Christmas, so we gotta make sure we have enough money to do certain things, right? Or shoot, let's be honest too, right, fellas? When we have the we're putting up the Christmas lights, right? Putting up all the decorations, all the things that come with that, and shoot, our electric bill might be a little bit high during this time of the year, just because we want to make sure that the kids are enjoying the festivities, so we're having the lights up and things like that. So it's just different things that I feel like we take on at times during this holiday, right? I guess the financial strain, because it might already, shoot, for some of us it's already tight, just paying our bills, paying the rent, right? Car insurance might be up right now, or registration, or whatever the case is. And then on top of that, it's like, dang, okay, also have Christmas, right? Also have, and then if you're like me, have more than 2-3 kids, I have 4, right? Plus a wife, that can add up very quickly. And my son's birthday is actually at the end of the month, so we gotta kind of navigate through that, right? That's the thing in itself, where it could be a lot. It could be a lot, just because of we make sure that his gifts are separate from Christmas. One of my good friends, Jeremy, shout out to Jeremy, his birthday is on the 17th. And so I remember he used to always complain when we were younger, just how for him, he hated that his gifts was always combined, right? And so what we do to make it easier, we'll make sure we separate my son's gifts, so he feels like it's separate from his from Christmas. So for example, let's say hypothetically all the kids got 4 gifts from us, right? So they get 4 gifts. Okay, we're gonna buy him 6 gifts. So 2 of those gifts are gonna kind of be put to the side somewhere, so he can have that for his birthday or something like that, right? But this year we're trying to actually do like a party or something like that for him. So that's another financial thing, right, that we gotta deal with, right? And so I know I'm not the only one. All of us deal with these things, and trying to balance all that, trying to time manage, right? Balancing work, family, shopping, events, personal time, right? This is the time where it can get pretty hectic for us at times because we're trying to quote unquote make the perfect Christmas or perfect holiday. Or for some of us that was like, you know what, shoot, I didn't have my dad around. I never had him around during this holiday. So I always make sure that I create quote unquote the perfect Christmas or the perfect holidays for my kids, right? And we just put on extra stress for ourselves when sometimes we don't have to, right? We don't have to, and or shoot, like me at times, right, where I would be in a place during the holidays. I don't have to worry about it too much now because I'm in another state, but when I was in California, it was a lot because I am trying to make sure I see everyone. I'm trying to make sure I please everyone, right? So it's like, hey, we're gonna go to an uncle's house, a grandparents' house, my mom's house, you know, my homie's house, whatever, right? So it's like all these different things is pulling me, and it's like, dang, this is a lot, especially when you have kids. It's a lot to. All right, guys, we're about to pack up and go to visit this family. You're gonna go to visit this family. Um, Especially when you have the family members that's like, hey, we're not going to you, you have to come to us, right? So some of us have to deal with that. Like I said, I don't have to deal with that because now I am in a whole nother state, but there's many of us that's trying to navigate through that, and that's not even including, right, navigating through, let's be honest, the family conflict, right? Spending time with loved ones is one of the greatest, joys during that time, right? But there was actually a survey um, where they said, like, most of the time, family time is one of the best. I think it was like 50%. I can't remember the survey. I'm sorry, y'all, but it was like 50% of the people that voted on this survey was saying, like, the best thing about the holidays is being with family, right? But with that comes challenges, right? Different dynamics, different frictions, right? Between loved ones. What if you have, that cousin that doesn't get along with your sister, or you know your dad that doesn't get along with your mom, or um, whatever the case is, right? Or shoot, for us fellas, uh, yeah, family members don't get along with your wife or get along with the mother of your child, right? And that's a whole nother thing that can add more stress because now you're like, I feel like I'm in the middle of it, right? And I'm just caught up between. I love both of these people, but I'm caught up in between it. It adds extra stress. And then, you're trying to be peacemaker, but now it's like, hey, I'm picking this side, I'm picking that side. Right. So that can be a lot too. That's just another thing that that comes with the holidays at times, right? And so, but when those things happen, right, make sure you set those boundaries, right? Set those limitations for yourself. Make sure you're mentally prepared as well. Communicate clearly. Hey, you know what? A uncle, like, please don't make those type of comments when it comes to my lady, or hey, you know what? Um, leave my daughter alone, leave my son alone, whatever. Don't say these things that bothers them, right? And then you have those family members. It doesn't even matter if you set those boundaries; they're still going to do what they're going to do, right? And so if you know that, then you have to kind of separate yourself, or you got to kind of look at it like, you know what, this is the holiday season. I love y'all, but I'm going to make sure I'm only going to visit for an hour this year. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna make sure that I'm only gonna go visit. You know what? I'm gonna make sure I drop off my lady at the aunt's house or something like that. I'm gonna just stop by for a little bit, show my face, and leave. Whatever the case is, right? Just practicing different methods that will help with that, right? And so that's, like I said, that's another thing that you have to deal with. I think I know I mentioned the finance aspect, right? Um, but now I think about it, I don't even think I really gave what is a solution or what is something that can help with that, right? I did share about how for me and my family we try to make sure for my son's birthday, like, because that's extra money, how we kind of make sure we buy like two extra gifts or something like that, right? But just the holiday season itself, it sounds cliche, but make sure you budgeting, right? Make sure you get ahead. Like what I try to do, It might sound, or maybe it doesn't sound crazy. I don't know. But during the summer, right? During the summer, a lot of times if I see something is when I'm going to get, whatever it is. Oh man, okay, I know my son would like this shirt. I know my daughter would like this jacket or whatever the case is. I'm going to get that, and then I'm just going to kind of store it away, right? Instead of trying to cram everything in a month and I have all these different bills, I have all these different things I have to take care of. Why not just get that, earlier in the year? Because at the end of the day, as parents, anyways, right, we're constantly buying our kids different things, anyways, things they need, things we think they would enjoy, things we think they would like. So why not just jump ahead instead of just waiting and putting that extra stress on ourselves? And then we're just creating that thing where, we might be more irritable because we're trying to hurry up and make certain moves, whatever it is. Shoot, if you said, I'm gonna buy, like for example, my son likes basketball, right? So let's say I said, man, I'm gonna get him basketball tickets to see whatever team, right? I can purchase those tickets way early. I don't have to wait until, December 1st to try to look them up, right? So it's just getting ahead of those I guess those expectations are getting ahead of just those financial strains, right? Um, just making sure we, like I said, find a balance for it. And then for the holidays as well, right? We also have people that are dealing with grief, that are dealing with loss, right, from loved ones. Um, that's not easy at all. I lost my grandfather. Just some years ago, 2012, 2012, and it was around. It was close to Thanksgiving, right? It was close to Thanksgiving, and for a long time, it affected not just me but my whole family, right? Um, just trying to navigate through that because it was weird. It was not having him. That's one of it. If you haven't experienced losing someone, a loved one, it sucks, right? It sucks. It's something that it's hard to bounce back from, and sometimes it feels like you can never bounce back from it, right? And so, you know, with those things as well, it can be strainful. It can make you be depressed. It can make you um, really just being in a dark place, right? When you lose a loved one close to the season, or shoot, it might not even been close to the season. It's just it happened, and you're just reminiscing on the things you guys did together during the holidays, right? And so, but what I would say, to help with that is don't. This might sound crazy, but if you're someone that did lose a loved one during the holidays, which is definitely tough, or not even during the holidays, but you lost someone that was very close to you, and it's really affecting you during the holidays, don't force yourself to celebrate, right? It's okay if you're not really feeling the holiday spirit. It's okay if you're like, you know what, I'm not really feeling it with Christmas right now. That's perfectly fine, right? But just make sure you're you know, avoiding your comparing your holiday to the holidays of others who haven't experienced a similar loss. You know what I mean? So, just be mindful of that, like not trying to really compare that, and excuse me, and to make sure be around people you really trust and loved ones, right? Um, Even though I said you might not be in the holiday spirit when you lose a loved one during the season, understandably, again, don't force yourself. But I would say also don't isolate yourself either. Like that is the time when you need to be with your loved ones, right? Because especially is people that can understand that you lost a loved one. That's the time you need to be around your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your mom, your dad, whoever, because they're going through the same thing as you, right? They're going through the same thing as you. And so that's why it's so important to for us to surround ourselves around people like that if we're going through that type of loss, right? And with that being said as well, I mentioned it, but that loneliness, right? Um, the loneliness, because this season is supposed to bring people together, um, but there's times where we just want to be by ourselves. One, because we did lose a loved one, like I said, or maybe it's just one of those things you're just kind of isolated. You don't want to be, but you know, for me, right? Again, I'm in a whole nother state. There is times where I have felt like isolated in a sense, right? Because of not having my family out here in Texas with me. All my family's in California, right? But with that, that's so important for me to make sure one that I'm surrounding myself with a community, but also avoiding certain things, right? So, I mean, I'm not a drinker anyways, but avoiding alcohol, avoiding different things that will make me try to cope with that loneliness during the holiday, right? Making sure I'm not having too much of that eggnog, you know what I mean, something like that. So, um, or even something we're gonna do this year, but volunteering, right? Volunteering, giving back, right? Just giving back and being around other people as well, right? Will make us feel connected with others. Like it's not more so for you to get back like, oh man, I have this, they don't have that. No, more so just feeling connection. Like, dang, okay, hey, we're in this together. You know what I mean? Um, or shoot, be the first one to reach out, right? If you know there's other people that is alone just like you, hey, reach out to them. You know what I mean? Like, hey, shoot, they're by themselves, I'm by myself. Hey, would you mind, did you want to come through to shoot, I don't know, I'm cooking or something like that. It's just me. Do you want to come through and watch, was it basketball? Well, football now too. Football's also on now on Christmas too. But is there something like that? Is there something you want to do? You want to come through and watch the game or whatever the case is, right? So just making sure we're being mindful of that. Um, and then I guess I would say the last thing as well is just during the season is making sure we're managing our expectations, right? Because our expectations um, can be unrealistic at times, right? We're being unrealistic because again, we're trying to, hey man, I want to make sure I do what my dad didn't do. I'm trying to make sure I do what my mom didn't do. And you're putting all this extra pressure on you. And at the end of the day, your kid's not even tripping on if they don't get that new PlayStation game, they don't get that new, I don't even know what new doll's out, but whatever Hello Kitty, because that's one, yeah, my daughter wants like a Hello Kitty thing. So, if you can't get it right now, it's okay. The great thing about it is, guess what? Christmas is just one day, right? You still have a whole nother year. What 2025 is around the corner, right? So you could still, hey, I couldn't get it right now, but I'm gonna get it for you later on, right? So just not putting that pressure on you to say I have to get all this now. I have to because if I don't, then you know what? I'm a terrible father. If I don't get this, I'm a terrible husband. If I don't get this, I'm a terrible boyfriend. Whatever the case is, no, like, hey, right now I don't have it, but you know what? Um, when I do, I'm gonna be able to get that for you, right? Or shoot, they say this all the time. It sounds cliche, but it's a thought that counts, especially when it comes to our kids, right? And then if it's one of those things where our kids are like not grateful for the things that we even are trying to do, then at the end of the day, like, okay, is there something we're doing? Is there something we're doing where our kids is not even grateful that you know what? Look, I couldn't get you that new Spider-Man game, but I got you this new Spider-Man toy, right? And they're 9 years old, 8 years old, and they're like, "Oh, I hate this. This is terrible, right?" Is this something that that we're doing where it's like, dang, they don't even appreciate the things we're doing for them, right? Like, wow, okay, maybe maybe that's an eye-opening thing for you, where it's like, man, okay, my kids, like at the end of the day, like they don't realize how grateful they are or how privileged they are for me to be able to do this for them, right? And so at the end of the day, though, like I said, I think it's just managing our expectations and making sure that we know that we're doing the best we can, right? You're working overtime, or you're staying up late, or you're doing your research, looking online, or whatever the case is, right? And you're trying to get the best gift that you can for your kids. I mean, and that's all you could do, right? Or not even your kids, your loved ones, your friends, right? And then, unfortunately, too, there's some people that might not appreciate what you do for them, right? Not even when it just comes to gifts, just in general, right? And then you need to reassess that. Okay, why am I going crazy? Why am I trying to do all this for them, and they don't appreciate what I'm doing, right? Why am I doing all this for them, and I don't feel like they value me, right? Because at the end of the day, yes, it's the holiday season, but you also shouldn't be having to chase anyone, right? You shouldn't have to be uh, try to convince them of anything, you know. So that's why I say just not have those expectations. Some people are, unfortunately, going to let you down during the season. Um, you might let them down during the season because you couldn't get something or you couldn't be somewhere, right? Man, I was trying to go to my grandma's house, my mom's house, and my brother's house, and I wasn't able to do it all. Dang, man, what type of son am I? No, that's at the end of the day, you have to have realistic expectations and then communicate that with them. And then if they don't understand, you have to be like, okay, hey, I did my part. It's something with them, right? It's something with them. So I just wanted to really share that, man, with us because I mean that's a real thing. I feel like as fathers, we deal with all these different things, that we won't talk about, right? Obviously the biggest one is finances, right? But again too, during the holiday there's that loneliness if just in general, or we lost a loved one, or we have unrealistic expectations. We're just adding extra stress to ourselves, right? There's going to be people that we want to hang out with, and we can't because whatever situation. But we have to understand that and be okay with that. We have to be mindful for it and just understand that we're doing the best we can for our family and for our kids. And so if we do that, man, I think we'll be fine. Uh, this holiday season again, is Christmas is a great time of the year. It's a great time for the kids, great time to be with family, friends, loved ones. And it's true. Sometimes during the holidays, that's when you really can see certain people's true colors too, right? Um, so so with that being said, just making sure we're being mindful of all the pitfalls when it comes to the stress. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from these are things I've dealt with. So I'm not saying these things like, hey, you know what, trying to judge y'all, or trying to say, hey, this is the way you should do it. No, it's more so this is what I've came across. This is what I've learned in my experience, and it's helped me. And I'm still mindful of these things. I'm still mindful to make sure that, okay, I'm not trying to have quote unquote the perfect Christmas, or I'm not beating myself up because I couldn't go to 5 different places right during the holidays. Sometimes all you could do is a text or a call right during those times, or send a card, or whatever the case is, and that has to be good enough. And if it's not, hey, that's okay. That's more so on them, on you. You did your part. You communicated with them, and that's what it is. You still love them, you still care for them, but sometimes people, more so not family, I guess more so friends. Sometimes our so-called friends will cut themselves off, right? They will cut themselves off, and we didn't even plan for it. We just, hey, we try to communicate with you, and just didn't work out, and that's okay too, right? That's okay too. So, um, with that being said, man, I appreciate you guys. Again with the support. Man, it's been a blessing. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful holidays as it's coming up. Um, Man, yeah, and like always, you don't have to be perfect, but you always have to be present. I'll see you guys on the next one.